true masters are few and far between. When you see the work of one, you will definitely recognize it.
I met Taki through a mutual friend, Ed Hardy, and he recommended that we work together because we were both college-educated, renegade intellectuals was his exact quote. So I kind of tracked him down via Ed Hardy. Taki is a Japanese tattooer who is carrying on a tradition passed down through his master of doing Japanese tattoos and spreading the is an educator of that history and an artisan of the craft.
I was very fortunate to get an apprenticeship with somebody who had been tattooing me. He offered to teach me how to tattoo. Later in my career, I met Horiyoshi III. I went to him first as a client, and then from there our relationship grew, and I began to study with him and receive instruction from him, become his apprentice. The first time I saw Horiyoshi use a hand tool, I was completely floored. And it just felt like that this was some form of tradition that if I didn't learn, would die out in a generation or two. As our relationship grew, like he felt, even though I'm an American, like he thought I should have a Hori title. So he gave me the title Hotrtaka, which is a derivative of my first name, Takahiro. About 2 years ago, he actually asked me to join the family. The subject I chose for my back piece is Toyotomi Hideyoshi. He's the samurai who united Japan. So I just thought his story was one of determination, fortitude, valor in battle. And also, had Japan not been united, the course of history might be very different. There's a certain sense of cultural pride that I'm upholding something, keeping a certain tradition alive. I really wanted to get that image tattooed on me, so I requested that to Horiyoshi. And it's actually the first and only one he's ever done. So that was kind of interesting.
To tell you the truth, it's just not the artwork alone, it's what he knows about it too. It's just not a regular tattoo that can just tattoo nice pictures. He tells you the background about it, and he lets you know why they're drawn with this and why they're not, and things like that. A lot of people know who he is. A lot of people can recognize his work. They're like, oh, did you get that done by Taki? I'm like, yeah, you can just tell by the way it's done that it's Taki's work.
Well, originally I wanted to do something that is sort of in line with my cultural heritage, but also something artistic as well. Well, the water and the maple leaves, I wanted something that had to do with seasons and nature.
The tattoo I received from Taki is a Hanya. It's actually a Hanya head, but there's also a lot of Hanya masks used in Japanese tattooing. And it's actually a wrathful female deity that's jealous and scornful. Is akin to the Greek idea of hell hath no fury like that of a woman scorned. So that's the Japanese equivalent, but it was cool.
From the work that I saw, I was really impressed just with the traditional style and the fact that he did study in Japan.
I opened this shop next to my friend's bike shop just because I've always kind of liked bikes. My friend, they owned this property, and my friend had told me, if you ever want to open a tattoo shop, we've got this space open. When the time came, it just felt natural, and I think it's a good environment. A lot of times in between tattoos, we're next door hanging out, just kind of relaxing, step outside for a minute. Okay, my client chose a dragon. He wanted to do a front dragon, something impressive. This is actually, we've worked on it 3 times. Dragons are a very popular choice amongst many of my clients, and also in Japan as well. I think the dragon is probably one of the most ubiquitous symbols of Asia. There's the year of the dragon, there's numerous gods associated with dragons, goddesses. The king of the sea is considered to be a dragon. It also has a human form. I think probably one of the most interesting uses of dragons in tattooing, which is very relevant to what we do now, even, is amuletic tattooing for protection and power. Line work has been done, so we have like the base outline of the piece, and from here we're gonna shade it to add depth and dimension. Anytime clients come in with a piece of this size, they're in it for the long haul. This piece will take multiple sessions. This is strictly a black and gray piece. That's entirely up to the client. So this is essentially, I'm using black and then different shades of watered down black. Some of the gray effect is either achieved through manipulation of the needle and the machine, or by watering it down. When I'm not here, I'm usually out with friends, or just trying to ride my bike, or maybe on the computer working on something. One of my biggest influences on becoming a tattooer, and somebody who I think has given so much to the tattoo community is Don Ed Hardy. Around junior high, high school, I came across the Tattoo Time series by Ed Hardy. There, I was exposed to a lot more, a lot of photos of Hotrtaka Tattoo's work, who would later become my master. It was through his publications that I first started to learn about tattoos and the art of it. And so I felt it was only natural for me to try to follow in those footsteps. To date, I've written 2 books, Bushido, Legacies of the Japanese Tattoo, and Tattoos of the Floating World. Bushido covered a lot of my initial entry into the world of the Japanese tattoo, even talking about my own bodysuit and a lot of the things that I saw that I just found to be amazing. Tattoos of the Floating World is, I think, a little bit more of an academic text. We cover the relationship between 3 popular art forms of the Edo period. Kabuki, tattoos, and woodblock prints. One of the interesting things about tattooing is, while to the wearer of a tattoo, it's the most permanent thing there is, but I see it as a very fleeting art form. The tattoo's only around as long as that client is. Unlike a painting, for example, a painting can be hanging in a museum 500 years later. And I think a lot of us, our tattoos are tied so closely to our clients, and when they're gone, so will the tattoo. I think that's a positive aspect of tattooing. Maybe it won't be around forever, but I would hope that it's enhanced that person's life, or at least made them happy a little bit.